各位观众朋友，大家好，欢迎再次收听史麦微秀之 Podcast。我们聊得很开心，把我们人杰呢晾在旁边，因为我们要准备进入一个话题，两个女人未婚 single， 那一个已经结婚快20年的人了有4个小孩。我们这一集就是要聊 marriage， 我们听听我们年轻世代他们对婚姻的看法。至于我这一辈的，我想有需要再讲吧，除非你们有问题要问我。不过在你们父母亲这一代，你们应该看得够多了长辈。OK， 如果我早一点结婚，像我妈妈，我都生得过你们2个的。OK，All right， so Susan。What is your opinion, or what do you think about marriage?
Okay, I have this talk with my friend. Like I say, I understand the idea of being a mother, but I don't understand the idea of being a wife.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, like I feel like I could be a mother, but I don't know how to be a wife. Yeah. Because I'm single right now and I've been single for a long while. So the marriage for me is such a long topic, like a long away topic. And some of my friends nowadays thinks marriage is more like a trade. It's more like a trading. Yeah, it's not really about relationship. Yeah, it's not really about relationship. Is it about love or not? It's not really about relationship anymore. It's about you probably want that person to help you out when you're dead.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're almost dead. I mean, I wouldn't say everybody think that, but we have that kind of topic.
Yeah, makes sense. I understand. Similar.
Why did your friend say that?
Why? Because she just got a really bad relationship.
It's not really what is that called? Projective.
Yeah.
She's in bad mood.
But she did say something, like she said that if I'm gonna marriage, I'm going to marriage love. And I was like, oh, that's the most profound thing you ever said. Yeah.
All right. So, but what do you think?
Think about marriage itself?
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, I probably would double think. So, what does marriage mean in law in Taiwan? Yeah, I mean, we are having an international world. Like, okay, I would really double think. What is marriage represent in the law things? Yeah, it's really not just about having kids or
Romance.
Yeah, romance. Yeah, what does that mean? And I don't really think. Definitely not. I don't think. Love is the answer, I would say. Marriage is the answer toward love. I really don't think so. I feel love is really dynamic. I don't really think that putting in rings that really mean love. And in the same times that, our life is long and short in the same time, but probably eventually you don't have the love anymore. And is that going to mean your marriage gonna end or whatever it is? That's just a question. Yeah. So far, I just have some little thought toward that.
Okay, still not have a very strong,
Yeah, because I don't even have a relationship right now, so I couldn't give that much information toward marriage. Yeah.
But at least, what does your parents' marriage mean to you?
I think, okay, to me, is that my mom...
Is the marriage that you want in the future, if you get married?
No. I mean, marriage mean to me is that my mom making sure that I could grow up in a full family. Like, I don't give question like, oh, where's my dad or where's my mom? Like, I feel like I live in a happy family. But I would still say that being as a single mother or a single father is not really a bad thing. Yeah, if necessary. If the marriage is not good, it's actually sometimes better that you guys should talk things more about it than keeping a toxic marriage. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Which means if you want to have a child, it doesn't mean you have to get married to someone else first. You still can be a mother or a father, right?
Well, you mean, okay, so we talk a bit about that. I still think that if you ever want to have a child, you don't really have to marry. Actually, these come upon in my head. Yes. I do have thinking about should I frozen my egg someday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of women have done this nowadays. Yeah, including the one I told you right before we recorded this episode. Yeah, I shared a story with you. Yeah, she's quite famous. On social media. All right, so it's part of your plan in the future if you do want to have a child. And you telling me you have to get married to someone else?
No, I don't think like having a child in a marriage is part of my plan.
Okay.
I just we'll see.
Yeah.
If I really met somebody that could go marriage, marriage. And if I ever want to have a child, go have a child. But I don't think it's really the plan I'm focusing right now.
Compared with one of my students, she's very firmly, she's not getting married. Even she had like 5 or even at least 5 romantic stories so far I know, because she shared with me. And definitely not get married. Even once he got her number 3 boyfriend, And she told me, Smile, he's the one, but I don't want to meet someone like him so early. I want to keep playing for,
They keep playing.
Yeah. And number 4, number 5.
Yeah.
So she told me, oh, I don't think I'll get married. Even now, I have my own real estate property, something like that. She's totally financial independent. She doesn't have to count on any man, yeah. Even she can raise over a financial support to her boyfriend. She's very firmly and sure she's not gonna get married. Yeah, not even be a mother. But who knows? She's only like a 26, 27, yeah.
Yeah, that's still very young like me.
But from her, we have been knowing each other for more than a decade. So she was like 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah.
She's still convinced me that she's single. She remains single for the rest of her life. Yeah. Okay, who knows?
Who knows?
All right. What about you, Hazie? Marriage to you?
Yeah, interesting. I agree with many things Susan said. Like, even I don't think marriage is something that solidifies love. Like, you can be in love, but it doesn't mean you have to get married to prove that. Perhaps marriage or a wedding is just like a legal document, a piece of paper, another label. It doesn't mean that your love is stronger or that there's more commitment necessarily. And these days, I mentioned earlier in the UK, there are many couples who have children and they don't get married because they don't really see any value. It's more like a legal benefit. But personally, for me, although I've had actually 3 or 4 long-term relationships, we never discussed. We talked about marriage as a concept, but never planned, like, one day we would get married. It was never really, it was more of a, maybe if it was practical, we would do that. But I think these days, the difference compared to the previous generations perhaps is that women have a lot more perhaps freedom and equality now. I don't need to rely on a man. I have my own assets. I don't want to divide if there was a divorce or some problem down the line.
This is a question I need to ask you. So UK, if you got divorced, you have to split in half?
Not necessarily. There's many legal things you can prepare in advance, which doesn't make sense, right? But yes, if you have a divorce, you should split the assets. For example, a house, some savings, or some other assets.
So it's not like America. You definitely have to split.
Yeah. I think it depends on the situation, what you've agreed to. But yeah, in theory, especially something like a house or a car, you divide it separately, and maybe 80% of that could be my work and my energy that has bought this right now. So I would say I don't want to lose my assets, so I wouldn't want to be married unless I'm very clear about the other person and I've signed something and it's very clear. So it seems more like a legal debate. There's no romance in that discussion at this point, right? However, for me personally, marriage, I'm not really. I have no vision of a romantic proposal or this idea that I should be married to have children. It doesn't mean I want to be alone and I'm fiercely independent for my whole life. I would like a life partner. That is a great idea, but I don't think I need this piece of paper to say that I have that. And I don't think I need to have all this a party and all of this. Some people, that's fine, but for me personally, I don't need that. And perhaps the only situation where I can imagine actually getting married would be for legal purposes, for example, like we say, for the finances, for tax relief, or for like a visa. These days, if you want to, like some of my previous relationships were not British, like German or some other countries, so maybe you need to make things easier, these things like this. So, and that's interesting to
Just
me.
like you say, it's a trading deal.
Yeah, it's a trading deal.
It's legal. So, yeah, exactly. So like I say, to me, the word marriage sounds more like a legal agreement than a romantic thing. And I mentioned, many of my friends are married. They have children, but they are not married, and they're perfectly fine. They don't see any need. I think this is common in the Western world now. It's not really pushed upon you. Oh, you should get married. Nobody's ever told me this.
Yeah. I mean, I have a talk with other friends because she feel like you have to provide the child with a really whole family in order to let the child have a, hold like a better mindset. But I kind of disagree with it because it's more about how you teach that child about love. So because we are being facing a really, really crazy world right now, and there's nothing such a whole.
There's many families you see where the parents are married, but they're not happy.
Yeah.
If anything, it's toxic or very one-sided, and the children will learn a very disorganized, unhealthy version of what love is. So, like you say, even with single parent, they can provide a perfectly nurturing model to a child and teach them self-love as well. If you can teach self-love, then perhaps that's the most important.
Yes.
Maybe there's no so-called complete family the child grow up, but definitely the person who raised the child can offer complete love.
Yeah.
To set up a role model and how you love yourself first.
Yeah, exactly.
Without hurting anyone else. 对，苏子好像也有提到说，如果你想要有孩子，甚至可以趁年轻那个
冻卵
卵还年轻的时候可以冻卵起来。
对。
Have you ever that idea hit you?
Of what?
Frozen egg. You just speak Chinese. You forgot to translate. Yeah,
I'm not
it's been like
sure which
twice.
part.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's talking about frozen egg.
Oh, I've heard of it and I researched how it's done and thought probably not.
Probably
I
not.
haven't researched it. I need to say, but I
I
know
think
that's
it's quite invasive.
yeah, it's going to cost you a lot. I know the process of donate an egg. Probably is more or less like that.
Yeah, maybe I would go down a different route to acquire
Yeah,
a
to acquire a
child.
child.
The most
I will talk
cold
about
way to say it.
surrogate's mother.
Yeah, or
Surrogates?
sperm banks, but I think you can find
sperm
enough nice guys out there
That's
who
true.
maybe you don't want them as your partner, but
Yeah,
they will
yeah,
help
yeah,
you
yeah.
and be there as a companion to guide you if you really want. Like I've seen it. I've seen people do this.
Still, you want to write the person, that child with.
Personally, yeah,
Yeah, personally.
I haven't really considered that option. There's also adoption.
Yeah,
That's
that's
also
true.
another,
Adoption,
another
that's
option
right,
that,
yeah.
that's very valuable. But yeah, if you feel like you want your own biological child, I think more than freezing eggs, there are less invasive
Yeah, that's true.
options.
That's true.
Compare it with raising a child alone or with your partner. Which one you prefer?
Well, sometimes you don't have any choice. You
Yeah.
can have a partner and they decide to leave or something happens. But yeah, I think like Susan says, my full intention would be to raise a child with a partner. Of course, that might be less stressful. You can delegate tasks and work together as a team and communicate. But it could also be just as toxic if the relationship between you and your partner is not good or some dynamic there is not healthy. So I think it depends on the individual. There's no benefit for
Everything.
either
Yeah,
one. It's
yeah.
better, like, and Susan mentioned as well, if there is a toxic dynamic, it's better to leave and be a single parent than to stay in a toxic situation. So
In Arabic, you two have a very strong chemistry, but the chemistry changes.
yeah, exactly. And children
Become
affects that as well.
toxic.
Yeah, you don't know. So of course I could say, yeah, absolutely, I will only have a child with a partner that is going to be there the whole way through, and then something can happen. Things change in one day. You don't know what's
Sure,
around the corner, right? So
Sure.
I can only say what I would like, but who knows?
It all depends what would happen.
But I need to ask you because you asked us how we think about marriage, and we haven't gone through any marriage yet.
Yeah, but you
how about
have.
you? How about you? So how do you think about marriage right now?
I'm waiting for your question so long. Finally, it's
Yeah.
my turn.
Okay, let's put the question this way. So compared to like the young you, like when you're going to when you just start marriage, and what's the difference now?
I would like to know before you got married.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's
When
good.
you're
Talk
still
about
open, maybe
journey.
before you really met your wife and got a deep connection to her. What was your view on marriage and at that point?
I have a very strong concept that I want to build up my family with someone also can spend the rest of her life, and I would like to have children, committee. Yeah. So yeah, and I have my dream fulfilled so far. I am married with to my wife at 20 years.
That's very long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we married and so far my marriage is great, stable. Yeah. So I pretty much enjoy my marriage.
So you don't feel any like concept changing from the beginning and then right now?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Wow.
So how did you know your wife is the one to be married to? Because I think that is the problem the
yeah.
young
Good
generation
question.
ponders a long time on. Like, is this the right
Right
person?
before I got married to my wife, I got two ex-girlfriends. But you cannot feel, you don't have that very strong desire to get married with my ex. Yeah, but it doesn't mean to me, dating them just for fun. No. The top priority for me to date someone is to get married. I'm not kidding. So I often say even Smile is open-minded. However, I still have very strong traditional mindset.
You feel like dating the goal is to get married?
Exactly. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
And I would say mine is similar, but no marriage. So if I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for a long-term life partner.
Yeah.
I'm here for
Same
a
here.
long term, so it's the same thing, but
I don't
just
wanna
don't
do-
need the paper.
But yeah,
Like a serious one, I would say. Yeah.
However, I gotta respect my spouse, my wife, especially her family, my parents-in-law. Yeah, you still need to sign a contract,
Yeah.
and you still need to go to court. That's guaranteed. It's a
yeah.
promise to my daughter. Yeah, it's not a problem to me. Even I know it's just a piece of paper.
Depends on the person. For me, it is, but for others, I can see that it's a romantic. It's a commitment.
Oh yeah,
It makes sense.
I just want my wife to know. Yeah. I have a different way to show how much I love her. Yeah, I don't have to keep saying I love you, sweetheart, blah blah. But I did buy flowers, gifts, clothes, blah blah blah. Yeah, and I thank her very much. And of course, I always say love can be cultivated.
A color what?
Cultivated. I mean,
Cultivated.
formed,
Oh.
cultivated, developed.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
plant the seed. If you water it every day, it will grow. You build a strong foundation.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important. I learned this recently over the years.
Maybe right in the very beginning, we don't really love each other or admire each other. Even she disliked me, and I didn't, have any admiration to her. Sorry, but in the end, we started to each other. Okay, so we started, and I promised her, quit your job. We met each other in kindergarten, and quit your job and come to Pino City. Yeah, we met each other in rural countryside now. And okay, she quit her job and come to. I started my own business, my cram school. Yeah, and I promised her in 5 years I will have car, house, something like that. But I made it in 3.5 years.
Cool.
Yeah, as a man, you gotta take responsibility. You gotta have your words fulfilled, and and things goes so smoothly. As long as I do love my family,
Because
my
you
wife, my
keep your
kids.
promise. Not every man are able to do that.
My wife always mentioned, you are a man with conscientiousness. Even I admitted to my wife, I had a mental affair before. Yeah. Even when I told this to my
It's
mom,
good that you guys are communicating that.
we confess to each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
I think
that's healthy.
because you can lie to her or lie to someone else, you cannot lie to yourself.
Yeah.
So that's why my wife always say, you are the person who has a strong conscientiousness or conscience,
Conscientiousness.
something like that.
It's good. It's good. Because I do think that's probably a key for the marriage. You have to have a really good conscience toward
Be
things.
transparent. If you hide things or try to be like
Especially
deceiving
women.
other people,
Yeah.
it will never work. Communication is the most important.
And no way. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a person who can do something like that. I'll be sorry to myself, and
Good for you.
God is not allowing me to do that.
God?
God doesn't allow me to. I believe in something.
Yeah.
I mean, the
yeah.
God means my conscientiousness, something like that.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Believe in yourself, and you are not a person to do things like that. Don't do it. Other men can do that. That's their business, but not mine. Definitely not mine.
So I need to ask you. So how do you think about what is love to you?
Love, contribute yourself.
Contribute. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not just
yeah.
love yourself.
Love yourself.
Not just love myself, but I
Contribution.
gotta love myself first. But loving myself is for loving others.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the point.
What do you think about love?
I have one more question.
Okay.
Samantha, so what is it about that love with your wife that made you think you want to be married? Like, what is the connection between
true.
love and marriage?
Love and marriage, probably just like you say, more practical. Be more down to earth. Yeah, my wife want to get married. I want to get married, and we both think each other is the right person. Even in the very beginning, we are not a soulmate. We don't have a very romantic story or interaction or dating. No. We are dating for marriage. That's truth.
Okay.
That's truth. And we want to have a child. We want to have children.
You share values then.
Yeah.
That's right. We have
Yeah.
we have
That's a
same
real
value.
love as well.
Yeah.
One type.
Real.
Real.
Oh yeah.
lover.
That's right.
Not just infatuation.
Because it's
or
really not about romantic
or
all the
superficial
time.
things.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love is not
I've been
about
through
that.
romantic love.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me.
Interesting.
I prefer, be practical.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's what you say. Bread,
Oh,
面包,
Yeah. 面包
Love
bread.
and
Love of bread.
and we can cultivate love between us. We can have a very strong bond because we have kids, right? And we would help each other, even my family. Yeah.
So do you feel yourself really lucky that you're able to?
I has been thinking I'm lucky. I'm the luckiest man in the
Yeah.
world. I'm the lucky person in the world. I just told my younger brother last night. So lucky.
Because not everybody could go through things like that, I would say.
Always
And to
be
go
grateful.
through the same, like it seems like you and your wife, you always share thoughts and you communicate. And communicate seems something like a basic thought, but not every single person
Yeah, I
do
think
that.
many people would worry and be burdened and have trauma from these things, but you are able to instead communicate,
Yeah.
work through things in a healthy way. So
And also, I want to mention about a very important part, and also kind of sensitive. Okay, sexual life. is
Sexual
quite
life, okay.
When we have sex, doesn't mean we not just satisfy our physical needs or need. It's part of bond, soul
Yeah,
yeah,
bond.
intimacy.
Yeah, it's quite important. A lot of couple they would get divorced. They don't have
That's true.
satisfying sexual
That's
life.
true.
It's quite important. And so far, we are so satisfied with that part. It's quite important. Not just about money or kids raising problem. Sexual life is quite important. It's not just about physical need. It's about soul, spirit, and
Yeah.
intimacy. Let's say. Yeah, can bond you together so strongly. You need each other, not just physically, spiritually, mentally. It's quite important. Yeah, so I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. Yeah, physical power, spiritual power. Yeah, it depends how you think about love and marriage. Yeah, and so far so good. Even I know I'm a human being. I will have different temptations, blah blah blah. But so far so good. Yeah.
Good.
So exactly know what I need and who is the one who will be there for me until the end of my life.
Be honest, I do feel because you point out a strong point that that's the thing you want to do. You want to have a family. You want to start a family. But I don't think right now the younger generation that everybody would thought of that.
You know
It's
what?
not,
That my oldest daughter, I don't remember if I mentioned about it in my podcast. So I remember I mentioned, my oldest, she's flying to Philippines, next year, and she's quite free, It can be whatever she wants and she want to do. She quite enjoy being herself, and her mom and dad, Smile, really don't ban her from doing anything. As long as you are not doing something, you put yourself in jeopardize. Yeah, I'll be fine. But she's quite okay. So, to me, even I have 4 children, it's not a problem to me. It's not just financial problems. Even educate them. I think a role model is the best way to educate your kids. As long as they are grow up in a family full of love, care, attention. So even I'm busy, that's the me time. I mean, with my wife. Sometimes we're too busy. We cannot get along with one another. Too many things to deal with. But we still treasure the time we can get together.
It seems like you never put a character to your partner.
What kind of character?
I would say wife character, I would say. Or you actually try to, it seems like you guys having the same pace and you communicate to a different thing instead of saying that, I think you should do that. Or your wife told you that, I think you should do that. Do you feel that way? No. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I think we pretty much enjoy our own role.
Yeah. So you guys know your own role and you also communicate with each other role. Because I feel like the marriage in Asia culture is that they're easy to put a stereotype role toward one character. Yeah, like my mom marriage. Like my mom has been suffer from a really a wifey situation. Like probably the society, my dad, mother will demand her to be a wife. Yeah, and that's just not fair. So
I know what you mean. However, I think we keep adjusting. Yeah, and adapting to one another. And we, my wife doesn't think I should give her pay. But I say, why? Why not?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
The pay.
So that's why I want to buy a house on her name. Yeah, something like that. She's quite humble and she...
But you treat people fair. I think that's the important part of it.
Maybe I'm a Libra. And you want to be a leader, you got to be fair to every single one of your teammate or your father.
Because I believe in your generation, the husband character, the husband and father character, they think they are the bigger one. And they don't treat things fair. Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah, so I don't like that since I was a kid. I was no child. So unconsciously when I was a leader or I'm in charge of family, crime school, or any kind of project, I'll do my best to be a fair leader or, handler or something like that. However, no matter how you do, people cannot really obey or convince them. Yeah, but I have no choice but to make, the decision. Yeah. Even you don't follow, it's not my business. But for the whole group, I gotta do my best to make the fairest decision. Yeah. So, and I know even some people are not happy with the result. However, as a leader or as a policy maker, you have to do something. You gotta do it, even they hate you. But I have to shoulder up the responsibility because you are the one to make a decision, and you need to shoulder up the full responsibility. Even it's not my fault, but I still need to take the fault. Take the responsibility. I don't care. Yeah, I have to shoulder up. Even it's very bad judgments. So what? But as long as I made the right decision, which I take care of, most of people agree with me or on my side, that's good job. That's a good decision. Yeah. Even no matter how fair you are, you cannot satisfy every single human being. No way. You gotta think that. You gotta get through to that. Yeah, so otherwise you always be hesitant. You cannot make a final decision. You can't be a leader. You can't be a good leader. But I will do my best to make up to those people they think that they have lost something. That's what I can do. Yeah, like I have 4 kids. I think in the future, no matter how I treat them, they'll think, oh, Daddy, you have buy us the life, love, right? Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So, do you think you have a sibling? Do you have a sibling?
Yeah, I have two sisters.
Yeah. Do you have that?
Older or
Older.
Both older.
You got 2
I'm the
youngest,
oldest.
Oh, you're the
2
oldest.
sisters.
Yeah.
2 younger brothers. So yeah. So that's my answers to your questions. Anything about marriage?
Yeah, because I was trying to ask you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what do you think about love?
Oh,
So
me?
what is the concept for you for love?
Yeah, I think compared to Smile's view, my view is more emotional. But I think love is, like we said, is a seed that you plant and you water it and you invest your time, your energy, you communicate from the beginning and you build love. It's not something you just meet somebody and you fall in love and that's it. It takes time, it takes energy, communication, forgiveness, and you grow together. And that is the real love.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that it's the very healthy relationship.
The
Instead
mistakes.
of toxic one. 2个人在一起就需要一起成长. That's the point. Yeah, good point.
The mistakes I made before is things like not communicating clearly and just assuming that a friendship or love can continue without any work to stay on the same page and to talk about things. And then you end up with resentment, people not taking responsibility or miscommunications that you don't work through. They all end up becoming burdens in some relationship. And then love is gone without you really noticing. So now I kind of took a step back perspective to look at what is love, and I think it is something you build over time.
Yeah, it's built over
It
time.
takes energy and effort, and sometimes compromise.
That's true. That's true.
Compromise, and but the main thing is like we saw with Smile's relationship is always communicating and being transparent and honest to yourself and the other person, and there is love.
Good one.
Friendship and family and romantic love is all
Yeah,
in
same.
this way.
Same. Yeah, that's right. Beautiful ending. And good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question to end with. Yeah. What is love?
Good question, good answer.
Manifestation.
Manifestation.
Let's manifest love.
No, it's just my own.
I
Yeah,
see.
my own.
Yeah.
Okay. 婚姻跟2个年轻世代还有一个什么中壮年这个时代谈这个婚姻，那都有各自不同的看法。
这蛮有趣的。我们3个人其实，因为你就是台湾比较老的世代嘛，
传统
那我就是台湾比较
这个字用的有点重，
对不起
我要抗议一下，
对不起，
我要做节目效果。
对，比较就是中壮年的世代啊，我就是台湾比较年轻的。然后刚好我们又有一个外国人，就是给我们讲说西方的对
他们
婚姻
对爱
感觉，
看法这样
对
子，
就是非常的刚好有3个，就是真的是很不同的角色。
对，节目当中我有呼吁啊，如果有我们听众朋友，如果你有认识的外国朋友啊，包括东南亚都是，他如果目前他对英文的口说这方面沟通没问题，欢迎他来上我们的节目来跟我们分享。他在他自己的国家或是来台湾，不管是求学啦还是工作啦，什么原因来这边生活，然后都欢迎他来上我的节目。好，OK， 那酬劳我们私底下讲。哎，你看我们Susan跟Hazie
出现那么多次吗？
对，good point， 所以Smile就不会去亏待哈。这个我觉得就如同我刚刚节目说，共好要利他。对，我爱自己是为了我有更多能力、力量去爱别人。Yeah, in order to love people with more power, I have to love myself first.
Good.
Yeah, 先让自己有够强壮的心智毅力以及经济能力，你才有能力去爱其他人。OK， 好，那所以结束呢，我们这个 Hazie 她有一个很漂亮的 ending。什么 ending 来？Susan，你帮我们讲一下。
哈，你说用中文讲吗？
可以啊，没关系啊。
Oh,
Yeah, let's do it with Chinese. Because
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
ending with your love things.
what is love?
Okay, mine or Hazie?
Mine.
Yeah. So Hazie 呢，她刚刚说她觉得爱情就是其实是要花时间好好的去栽培的。那她的描述是像是一颗种子，然后就是慢慢花时间把它慢慢长大。那可能中间会遇到很多事情，就是甚至是妥协啊、沟通啊，然后你要对你的伙伴感到诚实啊，对，所以其实他觉得这个东西不是好像是烈火一样，一瞬间就哇就这样出来，但是其实是要花时间慢慢去把它成长起来的。所以我觉得这个答案就是听起来非常的，就是很温柔、很温馨。
Is that a metaphor？ 是一个比喻嘛
Yeah, I think it's really a gentle and delicate way to put what love is.
perfect
Yeah.
description，
嗯
也很棒的一个 metaphor。两个人在一起，不管是什么关系，亲情、友情、爱情，是要能够彼此
对啊，
相互
我觉得
成长
时间是真的蛮重要的。
对
对
，it takes time to understand a person。对，好，那这个节目就在我们的Susan做完最后的 conclusion 之后，我们就要告一段落了。那也许这是我们近期内 Hazie 跟 Susan 还有史麦一起录制这个 podcast 的最后一集。那节目播出我不知道是在什么时候，也许4月份，也许是5月。那这一集是我们真的是史麦额外再去跟2位好朋友
对
Susan 跟
刚好
Hazie， 对，我们
时间
要来台南欢送我们那个 Hazie。节目结束我们要去吃饭了，我不免要跟我的合作厂商小孩吃素广告一下我们待会就是要去台南的小孩吃素去用餐，那招待我们 Hazie 那要离开这个那个台湾了20几号 20 something right March，那我们当然绝对欢迎他回来有机会再跟
Yeah,
史麦
definitely
还有
welcome.
Susan
Yeah.
一起再来录这个 podcast， 然后跟我们报告他的New
New
business，
journey,
对
like
他的
new journey.
new journey，
Yeah.
对 new journey。那 new business 是 part of her journey，对，真的是我们在之前节目中说的，这个就是他的 journey， 人生就是一个 journey。好，我们期待他下次来回归，跟我们分享他的新的这段时间的 journey 有什么新的 adventure 跟我们分享。那节目最后呢 ，the last，go to the end，come to the end。Hazie，would you like to say anything to Taiwan？
Yeah,
Taiwan.
Taiwan, that's cute.
To Taiwan.
I'll cry.
Oh, you cry?
Hold your back.
Where's
hold
your
tears.
tear?
I'll be back. That's what
Yeah.
I'll say to Taiwan. I'll be back.
Mm.
I'll definitely be back. I think Taiwan, for me, it's been an adventure, and it's really been one of the worst and best years
Oh,
of my life.
that's
Not
cute.
thanks to, not really Taiwan's fault that it's bad, but I grew a lot this year, and Taiwan was a great place to be. To
I think
go
that's
through many things
I
in my
mean,
life.
that's a really good compliment. The place providing you good and bad, which means that here is really dynamic for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, exactly. It's been a great place, and like I said, I'll be back. And I think it's a great, diverse, dynamic country. And I'd
Good
like
to hear
go,
that.
yeah.
And I say thank you to you on behalf of Taiwanese. 好严肃哦！对了，我们这也是一种国民外交啊，对不对？
Yes, yes,
我们
yes.
庶民的外交 civil diplomacy。好，那就节目，你看一直都舍不得结束，你看我们有多么的珍惜。
结束了，肚子饿，肚子饿。
真的，我们肚子饿了。我们人姐也是
Susan 说：“赶快结束，我有肚子饿了。”
我们的那个人姐也辛苦了，谢谢。
对
那再广告一下，塑形。
塑形
塑形，Smile。
台南塑形。
对，台南塑形，一定要大家你看这个音质播出真的很棒的话，你们一定要来多捧场。OK， 所以人姐就不敢乱处理了，开玩笑啦，真的设备讲一下体验怎么样？
我觉得很不错啊。然后，因为我是没有料到外面会有人帮忙照顾，对，我以为就是全部都我们自己来，但是我觉得还不错，就是对，就是随时会有人可以给我们协助。
哇 ，What about you, Hazie? Comment on this studio so far?
The acoustic's great.
Acoustic's great.
Yeah.
It's very cozy.
OK，他说我们的这个声音这块是很棒，
非常的，然后环境很舒服，这样子。
OK， 好，谢谢，拜拜，
拜拜。
See you next time.